Tour.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's a Spurs preview. It's an Aston Villa Spurs preview, and I am blessed with the one and only Luke Connelly from the North End podcast. Hello, sir. I am actually on tour and on the road like you usually are, so we're both in our respective rooms to discuss the upcoming fixture at the weekend that is has a lot of relevance for us at the top of the table, and obviously just from a form perspective and from where you're at as a team and with your new management. It's an important game to sort of see where you are. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. You've been on here before, but good to have you back, buddy.
Absolute pleasure to be here, Brian. Obviously, always fun. I love that intro. I was kind of
little garage, garage. Sorry, you got to say garage.
Had some lyrics going on, mate. Oh yeah, but a bit of grime in the garage. Absolutely love that. So yeah, no, pleasure to be on. JP obviously was hoping to join us, but he's an asshole. So there we go.
Fuck JP.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck JP. We're gonna get that trending. Hashtag fuck JP. Yeah, exactly. In the comments, get us at us. It's all good. So excited to talk. Content hugely excited about the game itself. Little nervous because you have apparently learned how to play as the team that you should have been playing as at the start of the season. So yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say start of the season because we didn't bring in Conte until November. It's a difference though, isn't it? I mean, come on.
Players. Oh, it is. And I think some key signings have really
massively.
And just rebirths as well. Rebirths of certain players. I'm sure we'll get into it, as we do. But yeah, I think it's a very exciting Tottenham team right now. Really exciting.
Yeah, our form is incredible. It's been impressive. 5 out of the last 6 we've won, and I think that as far as form's concerned, over the last 7 or 8 games, it's despite the loss to United, which was a difficult one. Essentially, we lost to Ronaldo, but we've been playing good football, and you're starting to see this kind of team that Conte you'd expect him to create when he's at a club for long enough to do it. So I'm very excited. I'm very pumped about the rest of the season. We got 8 games left and a chance to finish top 4. It's in our control at the moment. But this is a chance to talk about the game at the weekend, talk about Villa, talk about where you guys are at. Steven Gerrard came in. He's had a bit. It's been inconsistent. He's had moments. A few games in a row he'll win, and then he'll lose a couple in a row. I think you guys have lost the last 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. It's been
you're correct.
A little bit up and down. How do you feel about Gerrard at the moment? And is he the right guy to take this club where you want it to
go? Well, it's weird. The start of March, we beat, I suppose from the end of February, right through to kind of middle of March before just before the international break, we turned a corner. Like we'd had 2 bad losses, Newcastle and Watford on the bounce, which is awful. And then we beat, Brighton 2-0. We beat Southampton 4-0. We beat Leeds 3-0. We scored 9 goals and conceded none in 3 games. And then all of a sudden we lose 2-1 to West Ham. Not too bad, but it was more the fact that we didn't play well. We lost 1-0 to Arsenal. We kind of crappy goal, didn't play well. We lost 2-1 to Wolves, just not playing well. And you see, it's the lack of consistency that kills Villa fans.
What do you think that comes from, Luke? Like where's the? Because I watch you guys a lot because obviously we share a channel. We're on the North End, which we'll get to it a bit later. But I watch a lot of Villa. I like the history of the club. I respect Villa as a club as well. And I wonder where that inconsistency is coming from, because you bring in Coutinho. He's been massive, or at least in the games that he seemingly shows up for, particularly at home. Is there a home and away issue with you guys, do you reckon?
I think there is. We've been particularly bad at home for a number of seasons now. The season we got relegated, we were one of the worst, and that was unheard of. You don't even have to have gone to, but how kind of viable that is to play a place to play in, and how dangerous it is to play at Villa Park. And from the Holt End, Brett will always talk about that, and it's a really, really great stadium. The noise is fantastic, but we've just not been that same home team for a number of years. I think right now it's becoming very apparent that we're not sorted in the personnel right now, and really the defensive midfield, that DM position, we need someone to kind of control the game more, because Douglas Luiz had good form, and then again, for whatever reason, I've stipulated a couple, he's kind of lost that form.
When you say that stipulated, was there something specific that happened? Like, is it personal, or is it just more of a I think it's consistency?
I think he's loved up. I think he's loved. He's loved up with Alicia Suleiman. She's our very Instagrammable,
doing
very
everything, don't they?
followed. Yeah, like because our women's team are very good, so they made a number of key investments as well. But it's Brian, a bigger picture. I'll still say I'm excited. I think we've seen immediately with the likes of Coutinho coming to Aston Villa that Gerrard has that pulling power. He has that ability to kind of bring people in. And I think going into a transfer window in the summer with him rather than with Dean Smith, I think it's going to make a notable difference. And I'm excited, and there are some reasons to be excited. Like Cameron Archer is away and load at Preston right now. This very hot kind of striker. Obviously you understand what it's like to have that. I think is it Scarlett? I think is
Dane Scarlett. He's 17. He just turned 18 last week. Yeah, great little player. Yeah, I think for sure.
Signed on I think I've got him on a new contract. But Archer has been one. He's been on the fringe this season. We've had Carney, Chuku Minga, I can never get his last name right, and a couple others, the Jacob Ramsey's coming through. And he just wasn't getting that shot. So we put Archer out on loan. As of right now, there is no better performing under 21 in England. His numbers are better than Saka. He scored 16 goals so far this season. He can't stop scoring.
He's playing up top. He's a striker.
Up top, up top. This
he comes in and kind of like competes with Ings and Watkins, or do you sell Ings or Watkins in the summer? What do you think's happening there?
Well, I'm a little concerned for Watkins, and we've talked about this on the North End, and JP has started talking about it as well. And I think we loved Watkins, but it's starting to wonder: is Watkins a Dean Smith player or alone, or is he also a Steven Gerrard player? And my worry with Watkins is the same worry I had about Tammy Abraham, where people would raving about Tammy Abraham. And I said, well, listen, he was great for us in the Championship, but look at his actual statistics. The amount of goals he scored versus the chances created was so, like, he'd score 1 in 5 or 6. And as well as I do, you don't get those kind of opportunities in the Premier League. So
you got to be clinical. You got to finish if you're gonna step up to that level for sure.
You do, and I think that's the problem. I think Watkins is still not clinical against Wolves. He should have scored 2 or 3. He almost missed the penalty that he scored. It's just there's definitely a good player there, but like we need an out-and-out finisher, and I worry that he will do that. And people go, oh well, look, Abraham's are doing great in Serie A. Lukaku did well in Serie A. How's that gone for him at United? How's that gone for him at Chelsea? So it's a very different level, isn't it? So listen, I'm still excited. I think we need a couple of players, and anyone listening, if you're not listening, join us on the North End. Me and Brian obviously leading that, along with Paul and JP and David Convery and a load of others, and we're going to be doing that.
The whole motley crew over there at the North End now. So.
Oh God!
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the fixture at the weekend. Speaking of Coutinho and your forward line coming up against the Spurs side right now, who are being pretty tight defensively and are scoring a shit ton of goals. Most goals scored in the Premier League in 2022. The best record in the Premier League behind Liverpool and City in 2022. Like just really, really firing on all cylinders at the moment. Where do you see Villa getting something out of this game, potentially making it difficult for Tottenham?
If you do, COVID outbreak.
Lasagna game part 2, maybe.
And it's looking good. England's looking like it's on fire again, so that's good. No, I'm worried, right? You are playing fantastic football, and you're starting to look like the all-round team, because I've given you a lot of shit over the years, and
deservedly so. I mean,
Oh yeah. You've signed a lot of big money players, especially in the kind of like defensive positions, that just haven't done it. And I think Conte has, like, how good is Romero? Like, he's
the best defender in the league, or he's right there in the conversation, I think.
Absolutely. Like the way he reads the play is unbelievable. He's up there. Like, it's the same as Diaz at City and Van Dijk at Liverpool. He has that uniqueness. I watched highlights and I watched a game with him recently, and it's just, as a guy who played in defense my whole life, like, nowhere near that level, but the same thing.
You know what it takes to do that. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I watch him, and he's always that. he's the same thing, and it's a big claim here, but the real greats, the Maldinis, the Nestas, they have that ability. And people go, well, look how long they managed to go, even when players weren't going that long. It's because they read the game so well.
Yeah,
they could make up for losing that speed each year. Like they and he does. He seems to just read the game. So it's really shitty for us because
yeah.
you were weak on the counterattack, and all of a sudden I don't think you are. So my only Villa can't sit back. If Villa come out and are tentative in this game and say, oh, let's get through the 20 or 30, I think it would be even if we get to 0-0 and 20 or 30 minutes, it's not good enough, because Kane and Son and the likes of those boys can knock in 2-3 goals in 8 minutes. And I'm not happy. I'd rather see us go for this and lose 3 or 4-0 than sit back, because you're gonna come at us. You have the firing power. Kane knows exactly what he's about again. Son and Dejan are linking in real nice with him. It's a really dangerous Tottenham team, and I think we need to try and put you on the back foot from the first step and make you make a mistake. Let's see if you, because you have them in you. Like, there are players in that team.
It's true, and I think honestly that, like, Luke, that's a good shout. I think our problems, our issues earlier in the season were that. I think we've dealt with it. I think we fixed it, but it's still potentially there. So if you can find a way to make us uncomfortable and put the right player at the right time in the right position, if somebody's Matt Doherty's playing out of position, for instance, you might target him, and if he's playing on as a left wing back instead of a right wing back, which is he did last week, despite having a great game, scoring a goal and an assist going forward,
and an assist,
speaking, that might be something you can get at, right? So going to be difficult, I think, to do that. What are your thoughts on Spurs' new signings in Kulusevski and Bentancur? I mean, obviously for me, I like massive props to what they've been able to do to come into the league. We always talk about how on the North End, we always talk about how difficult it is for players to come from other leagues and immediately sort of bed in and play at the level that they need to, but they both look like they've been playing in the Premier League for years. It's incredible to see. And I know we're talking about Spurs, but it is a Spurs channel, so
no, listen, it makes sense. I think Bentancur he's doing painfully well, considering that you sold him off us like for a very small period of time.
Well, yeah, because there was a moment, wasn't there? Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, it was highly rumored for a while, and then
he would be brilliant in that Villa side right now.
Yeah,
sure.
That's the thing that's killing me. I'm watching him like, oh Jesus, but it's all about Dejan for me. Like, is it Kulusevski?
Kulusevski. Yeah.
Kulusevski.
Or Decky is the sort of the nickname that he's got.
Decky, okay. And Decky. Where is he from? Is he Ukrainian?
He's actually from what is it?
Serbian?
His background is Serbian, but he's from Sweden. So he's just
interesting.
So there's the we got a ginger from Sweden song that's come. I don't know. You'll hear it at the weekend when you watch the game. It's great. It's a great chant, great song. He got a song immediately, and it's one of the best songs I've heard.
It's incredible, but what he's done, and he's in on a loan, is he? Apparently,
he's on loan with an option to buy, and that option is, I think it's 25 mil, which is a steal. The cost of both of those players is absurdly cheap. People saying, "Oh, you're getting the rejects from Juventus," and I'm like, "We'll take the rejects any day of the week if they're this good."
The rejects of Palmer, it doesn't bother me. Like if he comes in and fills the need, and he honestly, I think that was the thing that was missing. I think you had a lot of you do have a lot of fantastic players. Son is, I could watch Son play every day. I love everything about him. Watch, yeah. And Kane is, Kane's ability.
He's leveled up again, which is absurd.
Oh man, as you said, as you called out the other week, the passing he has for a centre forward. He's
playing as a 10 and a 9 at the same time.
He's like Rooney. You know what it is? Yeah. It's Rooney all over again, because Rooney had that range on him as well. And I think people didn't appreciate Rooney's range until he started getting older and dropping back. And now Kane is getting older, obviously not
scoring the goals too, though.
But still working. But that Dejan, you didn't have that third really hardworking, industrious. Like, he doesn't give up a ball. Like he's got that, and I think he like that Serbian background or whatever it is. Because. I don't think the Swedish player is particularly known for that. But,
he's 21 as well.
Serbians,
he's a young one.
That's what I just noticed. It's insane. He's a fantastic player, and look at the points he was scoring on fantasy. Like, he was assists nonstop. He's already picked up 2 goals for you. Like 2
goals, 4 assists.
He's keeping Lucas Moura out the team, I think, and Højbjerg and things like that. It's not like you haven't got really good, talented players, but he's keeping them all, and rightfully so. Like
he's walked into the team and just said,
position.
"This is my spot. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to do what I want with
Yeah.
it," which is impressive. Let's get back to Villa a little. Let's start with starting lineups. We're going to show some slides here in a minute about your starting lineup, like what you think is going to happen, what you'd like to happen.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Spurs starting lineup quickly. It kind of picks itself. Other than maybe the wingback positions, there isn't too much to add to it. It depends on injury. It looks like Reguilon and Sessegnon in that left back position are both fit and have trained this week, so are available, which means Doherty goes back to the right and one of those two starts. And then it's the rest of the 11, the same 11 for the last 9 games. So no change there, and the system is going to be the same, and it's just can you deal with it? So I'm going to bring up the slides here. Let me just do it. I want to make sure that I've got the right ones. I've got them two together, but the right one first. Is that the right one first? That's your Villa 11,
so
or do you want to look at the other one?
No, that's what I'm the first one. So the previous one.
You want to go to this one? Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of what I'm predicting is. I kind of went back and had a look, and JP and the boys were chatting about 4-3-3 with Gerrard, and the BBC also had quite a limited selection that I could pick from, and I kind of had spent so long on it, I was like, I can't be asked to find another site now. But it is a case of this is kind of similar to the team that we picked up with when things were going well.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like to see, and I've taken a bit of a guess here. There's a rumor coming out that Konza is fallen out of favor with Gerrard, which I'm really upset about. And there's even rumor that he might be sold in the summer, which I think would just absolutely come back to bite us in the ass.
Isn't he one of your best defenders or your best defender?
Man,
I mean, you've said that for a long time, I think, in the North End.
Me and JP get into it, and JP obviously hates how much I go at Mings, but I'm talking about raw ability. I don't think we have a better defender. I think people are forgetting, not this season, but the previous season. Mm-hmm. He was barely dribbled around. His stats had put him in all the top characteristics, like clearances, headed balls, won everything. He was like literally in the top 1 or 2 of the whole of Europe. His numbers were through the roof good, right? And then all of a sudden, he's lost a bit of form. He had 1 or 2 injuries, and it hasn't clicked with him. But I think Konza, with the right person next to him, honestly, is a world-class defender and will cement. And right now,
I'd take him at Spurs in a second. To be honest, Luke, he could replace a Davies, or he could replace a Sanchez, or some of our defenders, and come in and fight for that 3 in the middle for sure. Like, I think he's a solid player.
I think he's brilliant. And you only have to see the rumors recently. 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago, England risked losing Konza. Like, the media's talking about, because he's not being picked. I don't think Mings should continue to be picked. I don't think Mings has been unbelievable for England by any means.
He's got like a mistake in him, doesn't he? Like some mistakes that are key mistakes, not an error of his passing is slightly bad, but mistakes in in a player comes at him and he ends up giving up a goal where he shouldn't. That type of situation.
For sure, and that is for me why JP doesn't like it. But it's not that Mings isn't a good player. He is, and he's a big, strong leader, and he makes a lot of comments and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the problem with him is, as you said, he has that mistake in him, and that'll kill you. That'll kill you. So, on this team, I have a feeling, based on that knowledge, that Konza might be dropped. And
is Luca Digne fit? Sorry to interrupt. Is he fit?
He is.
He is. Okay, good.
He is apparently so. I had a quick look, and the rumors are that he has been training, and he's fit to go. Obviously, if he's not, that obviously changes things again, because we're weak in that left back's position. So with him fit, Cash is obviously a must start. Martinez doesn't change. Mings and Chambers, I think, in the middle, and then trying to do this 4-3-3. I was going to drop McGinn because I think McGinn hasn't been playing particularly well. But
don't you need his solidity in that midfield, though? I feel like your midfield without him doesn't have that like grit that you kind of need.
And that's actually why I put him in, because I think regardless of if he makes a mistake, he is tenacious. Like, you watch how he plays; he's a little demon. And
he's a gritty little bastard.
He is, and with how good you guys are. Like, we need someone who's just being dirty and getting in there and really
Yeah,
breaking up the play.
little
And Louise
shithousery
is back
is
fit.
necessary
Oh
for a
yeah,
game like this for sure.
he's a Scottish shithousery 101, mate. Like, he could teach a
Yeah.
class on it, and he does this thing a lad I went to school with used to do when we were kids, and I used to just get so annoyed because it's really painful. If you watch when he goes into a tackle, he goes in ass and hip first, so he turns around and he kind of, and what you basically end up getting
is classic Canadian hockey move.
Oh man, it's so painful. Like, and because he's so low to the ground, like he gets himself low as well.
Gets under you, right?
He's a nightmare. So I think he'll hold his position. I would have, if he was to be dropped, I would like to see Sanson. He didn't have a terrible game last week, and I think he deserves more opportunity. Louise is apparently fit, so I think he'll come back in. Coutinho must play for me when he is available, and I think he is as well. And then I've gone aggressive, and I think in the top three, I think, as I said to you earlier, Brian, I think if we sit back or we don't give it our all here, I think we have to. So Ings is available. He wasn't available last week because he had his child, so they left him out to obviously be around for that. Watkins isn't good enough on his own, number one. So I think Buendia and Watkins supporting, and tell Ings to just hug that top of the edge of the defensive box, the goalkeeper's area, and just rotate around there and have everyone playing into him. Let Coutinho have him as that talisman to play into. Let Buendia be creative and come in, and let Watkins just kind of keep going down and have Digne kind of whipping balls down the wing looking for Watkins, because Watkins loves that run. He loves down the wing, quick as he can. He holds the ball, and Watkins is fantastic at is holding the ball up and keeping players away.
That's something he does well, for sure. Yeah,
very, very good. So let's use that. So I have a feeling this is, but I don't know. I was trying to pick the team, and it's tough, isn't it? Like, I was looking at some of the talented players that we have, and Jacob Ramsey is playing out of his skin, and it's hard to drop him. And Sanson hasn't been given a chance, but that's not 1 week. That's for a number of weeks. And I think right now this is likely to be what you see this weekend.
So the next slide is what?
This is fantasy now. This is where I.
This is your like absolute wish of like system as well, right? Because that's the 4-3-3 that Gerard's played. This is the Luke as manager, not Gerard as manager, and what you would do.
This is the 3-5. This is what I said. Put you under the back foot from day one and from the start of the game. So this is going, trust in Mings. If you're going to keep trust him. Trust that Konza is a great player and he's a great controller of the ball. To have him on the right there, he's a great player. And Chambers came in, played really well. Get him back in the team. Have them as a back three. Then Digne in cash, as I'm showing them, they're almost like literally just whipping down that line, and have them, like, if they need to come off after 65, 70 minutes, do it. But like, tell them to just absolutely up and down those sides. And then have Louise as the holding mid, have him in front of the defenders. His job is to clean up in the middle. And if it gets through, you've got Chambers, Mings, Konza, three big, strong, qualified and consistent and like experienced defense. So,
looking at this, Luke, I think you're giving your team an opportunity. Of course, this could backfire against a team like Spurs,
absolutely.
But you're giving yourself a chance going forward to also create a lot more. Like, I see more in this system. Then sometimes you lose with a 4-3-3. Sometimes you lose the transition game and getting further up the pitch, and then also that press you would, like you spoke about earlier, about what would make it difficult for Spurs is being put under pressure. You've got four players in this case that would arguably make it really difficult for our back three, because we're not playing a back five. We're playing a back three with wing backs. Those wing backs are high up the pitch. This allows you to get in behind us and make it uncomfortable with sort of an overload of players. And I think it's a good shout. I mean, we're not managers, of course, but when you look at the players that you have and the potential for this, I'd be more worried if I saw this lineup than the lineup we just looked at.
And that's the thing, and that's what I'm hoping, because Reguilon's a good player, but I think Cash has leveled up his game, and I think Cash will put him in. If Cash plays well, he has him in his pocket. I think he has the ability to do that. Who have you got on the right? Would it be Doherty back?
It'll be Doherty, whose form's been brilliant, but like I said, defensively, there's as a wing back, he's not as strong, but there is the deal, the fact that you're going to have to then deal with Romero, who has filled in that space as the right side of the three. Exactly. So if you're going to attack a side, it's going to be down our left for sure. That's the 1 week's potential weak spot that would be need to be attacked if you're going to have any joy in our final third for sure.
Yeah, and then with this, as you said, it's going for it, isn't it? I denied on who, but this is dropping the McGinn, showing him, hey, I want that tenacious, and I almost had him in there next to Coutinho, but I thought if you're going to go for it, go for it. Ramsey is a far more creative player. We know how good Coutinho is. Like, give them boys that range to play, and then just tell Luiz, Chambers, Mings, and Cons that your job is to crunch and to take the possession back and to get it out to the wings, and then let Ramsey and let Coutinho float around the pitch, and they'll do what they'll do best. They'll look to receive the ball, give it back, and move. And that's in that middle, but you need those players who give it and immediately go and make themselves available. Because
exactly. It's show for the other player, right? When you
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you've got to play two up front because it's not working on their own. Watkins isn't good enough on his own.
JP would disagree.
Well,
I'm making a joke because he always says that they can't play together, but I disagree. I think it's a system issue. I think this system would allow them to play together better because they wouldn't be relied upon as one of the front three to try to create something that maybe doesn't exist. There's more of a transition game in this setup for me than there is in a 4-3-3. Sure. I think it suits your personnel for sure.
Yeah, and it's putting it on the two of them and saying, right, lads, you're the front two now, because in that 4-3-3, Watkins gets drawn out too often.
And he's not good at wide, for sure.
He's great at holding the ball up, right? Yeah. But a really good striker, when he picks up the ball out wide, knows how to it really causes that, like the Suarez when he was younger, those, if Henry picked up the ball over here on the left, he'd be right inside, he'd be running his defender ragged. When Watkins
a bit like Sonny does,
that ball,
for sure.
Exactly. But the problem with Watkins is phenomenally, incredibly strong hold-up play. But he'll run down that line, he'll pick it up around that corner flag, and he won't, and he'll back in, and he's immediately looking for the option. He's not looking to he hasn't got it in him to turn it. Exactly. He always needs the runner. So take that away from them. Say, don't worry about that. Let Digne and let Cash get down those wings. And you two, Danny's a world-class finisher on his day. We saw that at Southampton. We saw how he's been. He still is a great player, but he needs to get himself in the position to do something, and have Watkins with him in case he scrambles something or he needs to lay off, work as an actual two. And if it doesn't work, then, but as of right now, it's the best option we have, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good show, man. I appreciate what you've put together there, and I think from an accuracy, from a Spurs perspective, I'd be more worried about that. Like I said, I think that's a better 11 and it's a better setup. But again, we're not managers, right? Now we're going to wrap up shortly here. I just want to quickly ask you. Let's get a score prediction. An honest one and then a heartfelt one, because it's a difficult one. Because of course, we our biases, as we know, and we talk about on the North End all the time, come into play when it comes to what we think is going to happen and what is likely going to happen. So you can give me both if you want.
It's a really tough question. I knew you were going to ask it. I still didn't have an answer. Are we away? We're away, aren't we?
No, we're at Villa Park.
Oh, you're at Villa Park. Well, yeah. that actually works against us based on the current statistics, doesn't it? So, my honest feeling is telling me Spurs 2-0, 2-1, potentially 3-1. I think I'll go 3-1 at Spurs. My head's telling me. My heart is telling me, fuck it, get a goal. 2-2 draw, like something a real neutral game. I think this will be an exciting game, bro. I think
I do as well.
It'll be a good game. Like, these are really creative young players in this team. Things are merging well. They're starting to click. And we Coutinho, like he's still that little magician. He can turn it on, and like just to be able to watch that. Like, Spurs don't really have those like magicians. They have these incredibly
Harry Kane.
No, Kane's not a magician. Kane is so thorough. Like, I would never have called Rooney a magician. Like Coutinho's like a little maestro. Like he won't do anything. Like he'll really struggle for 60
I know what you
minutes.
mean. I know what you mean.
And he'll have that moment where you're just like, how did he do that? Whereas Kane gives 15 balls and 14 of them were 20 yards, 15 yards, 10 yards.
Yeah,
he's
clinical with his delivery.
He's so clinical.
Sure. So I'm gonna go with I think 3-1 is correct. I think that's likely the case. I do think there's the one place that we haven't spoke about where Spurs are vulnerable is on dead balls. Coutinho would be one of those situations if we give up free kicks, which Romero generally does. He's a yellow card fiend. That you guys will have a chance on a dead ball that would put us under the cosh a little bit, and I could see you scoring something like that, like what we saw with Newcastle last week. But I think Spurs just have too much going forward right now and too much to play for. I think that's going to be the difference. Is that Spurs recognition that right now, if we win every game, we finish fourth. And that's it's in our hands. Even with Arsenal having a game in hand, one of those games they're going to have to play us. If we beat them, we finish fourth, and we're playing probably the best out of any of the three teams that are competing in that position. So I can't see us dropping points in this game. I do, like you said, though, I think it will be a good game. I think Villa will not make it easy, and it is away from home for Spurs, and that is always a different situation than playing at the Lane. So I'm going to pick a 3-1 there as well. Before we sign off here, we're half an hour in, and I think this is a good spot to end it. But let's talk a little bit about the North End podcast and the North End YouTube channel. You and I are contributors on that channel. It is a sister channel of the Tottenham On Tour. Our numbers are growing pretty quickly these days, which is great. Looking forward to seeing you again on there. I missed the last couple of podcasts because I've been traveling, but tell us a little bit about your role on the North End, and we'll do a little. We'll pop the link in the bottom. We'll also show the link in the description as well. So if any of you guys want to hop over and subscribe, please do so. But give us a little bit of rundown there, Luke.
Yeah, so the North End podcast was Brian Ireland of Paul Forrest, a David Convery legendary thing. I stumbled onto it a couple of years ago, and they had me on, and I was looking for an outlet, and it worked. And we stick with what we say: beers, banter, repeat, and really that's kind of what we're about.
It's what we do.
And it's what we do. And if you're looking for, everything Tottenham and really, really digesting that, stick to this channel. But if you're looking for a couple of guys to call each other a piece of shit, and the next week be like, I'm so sorry I said that. That's what the North End is. It's
that's the North End. If everybody saw our WhatsApp conversations,
we should start sharing them, man. It gets so easy.
Just put on our socials. Here's what happened.
It's all of us as well.
We'll talk to Paul about that. We'll get him to sort that out because that's quality. Hey. I want to thank you for coming on, man. It's a pleasure to have you as always.
It's great to be here, man.
Always chatting with you, and of course, big match of the weekend. We're going to do a post game with JP and Brian. So Brian Daigle and JP from the North End. We're going to do a post game reaction. Either on they said Sunday, but Sunday's the game, so I'm gonna Sunday. Sunday is probably Saturday is the game. Excuse me. Sunday is never a day where people do stuff. So it'll probably be Monday.
Saturday's the game, or Saturday.
Saturday game.
Saturday is Liverpool City. Which is going to be
it's going to be everybody's going to be busy. So tune in back to the channel then. For now, we're going to go to our sponsor. I'm going to talk about my balls for a few minutes. Luke's going to say goodbye. Manscaped. Check out the video. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Support for Tottenham On Tour is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TIDYTOT at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. So if you're like me and you like to keep your junk tidy, this is the package for you. Ever get a cut on the nut? Or maybe you're like Daigle and you struggle to hear? For us, these tools help manage something we all struggle with in some way. My girlfriend's pretty pleased with the results, let me tell you. It's been quite good. Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived. It arrived a couple weeks ago for us, some of us at different times, and it's been a game changer for me. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 and the nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, which are fantastic, incredibly comfortable, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. It's the 4th generation trimmer featuring a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof as well, and is also has a 400K LED spotlight you need for a more precise shave. Incredibly useful, let me tell you, in certain situations. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess in the bathroom floor as well. You thought that was good, of course, but you want to take your grooming to the next level, and Brian will. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof as well, which provides proprietary skin-safe technology too, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Their Crop Trimmer Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner, which change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me, when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts in the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag, which is fantastic. Bring your comfort in boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself. So go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code TIDYTOT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code TIDYTOT. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Tottenham On Tour.